Should be good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Right. See you guys. Thank you. Okay, we'll start this on. I think we got a couple more people. Jeff's downstairs, just so they'll be here shortly. So we don't have to go over. It was a lot of meeting, last meeting, but we ran out of time with it. We're a little off subject at times, so I like to try to keep that a little more organized this meeting. I wanted to ask Jeff, I don't know if we had that same 9:30 deadline today. So we'll have to ask Jeff when he gets here. So we'll get to you guys in a second. First item on the agenda is the approval of last month's minutes. Get a chance to read those?
Wait, let's call the meeting to order.
Oh.
Okay. I'm running these documents.
Okay. So I do struggle with sometimes the formality of it. Things are just to sit down and you start talking.
Okay,
So
Look at it,
Right.
well,
So that should not be my strength, so you're technically a couple minutes ago we had done that, but
Okay, great.
meetings to order. And now item one, approval of the meeting minutes from last meeting. The motion is approved. Okay. Good morning. Okay, good. So the line item 2 is visitor communications.
You know, that motion, the second.
Yeah. All in favor? Okay. Yes, as I said.
If you've given me this job, I'm going to actually take.
Yes, yes. Government is not my strength. Okay, so if everyone's good with it, we're gonna move on to visitor communication. We have a very efficient game club here. Dave, appreciate you coming. So just wanted to go over how the last one went and then where we're gonna go on the next one. Jeremy. Hi.
Okay. Jeremy, what's your last name?
Southport.
He's also in the very fish game.
Yes, I've got it.
That's the idea. So last year's show went well. There wasn't a whole lot of state vehicles in the parking lot, which is helpful. We didn't have issues. You didn't have anything in addition, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I think overall everything went really well. Attendance was decent. It wasn't, records, but it was
So just out of curiosity, I have this memory of it being, like 10 below 0. Somewhere in that range.
okay. It was cold.
Yeah, okay. Was the facility comfortable? We were operating, I think, on a smaller heating system.
Body heat helped.
Yeah, I think most people are in here more.
Yeah, okay, body.
And after, it's cold when they're setting up because the doors are open.
Yeah,
So, but once the doors are closed and everybody's in the building, I don't think anybody complains about it being cold. It might be cold for the people right by the door downstairs, that big overhead door. And when the overhead door, I think it's a fire hazard to have it down. So the wooden doors don't seal.
Yeah.
Right, so there is cold air that comes through there. So the people that are right next to that are cold, but then once you get into the downstairs, it's not cold.
Last year you guys had the parking lot for Saturday, or rented the UR for Saturday, right?
That's right,
And Sunday, or
just Saturday.
Saturday? How did that work?
Well, it works good. Keeping the hockey people out of the parking lot is definitely beneficial to us.
Yeah.
I still think that there are hours of the day that hockey could use the rink. don't know that we need to rent it for the entire time. But it's the only way that seems to make sense to both parties, so, you know, if we could split the time between Saturday and Sunday to cover our 4 hours, and hockey could use it outside of that, I think that would be fun, but until you and we come to an agreement on what that is. Right.
And that would involve a lot of people, hockey, not the rights anymore, but, what their plans are, if they're half day or not.
So our plan is this year to have the BOR for Saturday.
They're actually asking for more time for hockey.
They are,
So I haven't taken a good look at it and trying to find it on this. And I know she's already started logging the times. I told her, don't, you know, just tell them Saturday's out. We need Saturday. And as far as Sunday goes, most of their stuff says, you know, it's not as busy on Sunday as it is on Saturday over at the rinks. I said, just give them all day Sunday. Let's move them around. So,
Part of the challenge is I've supervised for several years, not the last year or two, I've supervised the parking, and we usually have Spalding seniors do it, and we pay them for their senior projects and stuff. And part of the challenge is, and this is not directed at hockey parents, but they come flying in, and we're trying to keep things safe and organized, and they have a mission of their own as to where they're gonna park, and even in an illegal spot, and they get confrontation. It's hard when you're supervising senior in high school, because they don't know how to handle that. Right? We try to tell them this is where they directly park. So it has created some issues, and it's just, because you got two people fighting for the same space.
Yes, it's limited vehicle, we're just trying to get there.
What time's the show end on Saturday?
the show ends at 5 o'clock on
You probably slow down after 3.
Saturday. 3 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock. You know, so that's always been our thought, that hockey could be in the rink at 3 o'clock. Right, you know, and we would have no issues with that. It's the 8 o'clock in the morning and everybody's showing up,
When there's a
hockey tournament.
and when there's a tournament,
They like their mornings.
yeah.
Jeff, to clarify, you said that hockey's looking for more time, is that in general for the season, or is that on that week?
It was on.
On that
There's times where, I think it was in the afternoon, where they had, they were looking for more time. They're gone earlier in the afternoon, and it's never been an issue on Sunday, right? It's always been just Saturday.
And Sunday, you don't need it because your numbers are down.
Our numbers are down on Sundays. So we can get by with whatever, you know, if hockey is running something on Sunday, we still have enough parking. Yeah,
And the ideal world hockey would take it at, let's say, 3 o'clock, and use it from 3 o'clock on,
yeah,
and then you can rest until 3.
yes.
Is it totally impractical to think that the hockey players could shovel up to their?
Oh my God,
Okay.
you're a brave lady.
It just seems like that would be the first thing to get the parents or whoever involved to just do a shovel.
We've tried that.
Yeah,
Okay, and it just doesn't
it
work.
doesn't work.
Too much planning.
No, they just have to. We're in a park here, that's it. Yeah.
Front
They do.
They almost run people
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
Thank you.
I mean, I got a show every year, last year's season, vendors, last vendors, you guys.
We did have less vendors last year, just coming back from COVID.
Do you think it would work? How are your numbers looking for, have you started that process yet?
We haven't started yet. I have heard from vendors already that, you know, they're ready to come back. So I don't know if you're aware, but the legislature passed a law that after this year's gun show, there'll be a 3-day waiting period. So there's a 3-day waiting period now. If you went to a gun shop to buy a gun, you have to wait 3 days to get it. You come to the gun show, you can purchase it right then, right? They grandfathered us in for 1 year to not have a waiting period at the gun show. I expect this year to be really busy. And then after this year, I don't know. I don't know if vendors are gonna want to come back because of that law.
Yeah, because if you buy it from the dealer. Or sell.
Or New
Or New Hampshire, or anywhere, or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna cause some issues, but
It's gonna cause issues. So I don't know if vendors from out of state are gonna wanna come up for this year. You know, I don't know how many in-state vendors are gonna wanna come up for this year. You know, that's a conversation we'll have during the show this year with all of our vendors, but this year looks like it could be very busy. So I really hope that none of the state vehicles are parked up here.
As far as I know, they're still not fully staffed down at City Place, so.
Yeah, they're not. Maybe once a week.
Yeah, Wednesdays, I mean, I was there yesterday, it was close to,
Yeah.
very serious.
So I don't know, have they parked anything up here? No. And there won't be a shelter here then?
No,
Hopefully not, right?
Well, they would put, but it would be done by what, October anyway, right? If it did happen.
because, no, there'll be no shelter, there was rumors about trailers being parked out here in the parking lot, that's not happening. They're out of here, FEMA's out of here. They are out of here October 12th. So we should be back to normal operations, whatever that is.
Yeah, so I know that the new law presents some challenges, but I do want to describe, I run Studio Place Arts downtown, and when people buy artwork, I red dot the artwork, and they have to come back on designated pickup days to pick up the artwork after they've paid for it. So that's how we organize that kind of process.
Right.
So you could maybe set up a pickup day a week afterwards.
And part of the challenge again is a lot of people are coming from a significant distance.
Yeah, and I have that too.
But-
Sometimes I,
But part of the thing with a gun, like if your father goes in with his young son, and he's buying his kid his first gun, and the kid touches and feels it at the show, that's part of the thrill is them walking out with their new gift from their father. And I'm not trying to overstate it, but it's a huge part. People want to touch and feel and have that gun and leave. It's very big.
I understand, but I'm just offering up
No,
the
I
example
appreciate it.
because it looks like you're kind of stuck, you know, and it works. I've been doing it for 20 years, and people have the same thrill. Maybe the anticipation is even greater because they've got to come back, and pick it up.
I think once we get a feel, Brad mentioned, because he runs this, he's gonna go around all the vendors and have a
Yep.
heart to heart, if the law stays intact, would you come back? And if a lot of them are leaning towards no, even with proposing that type of idea, then
Yeah.
we have to go.
And if we were to have a comeback day here, then we'd have to rent the building for another day, deal with that, right? So
That
that's,
would have to ship it to the FFL or to the shop. That's gotta be, that is pretty good.
yeah, because we wouldn't be able to set up for the weekend and then have the guys take everything down and set it back up, for one day.
If I wanted to do something, let's say, whatever, Arrow's table, I would have to go to that shop.
That's right.
After 3 days.
That's right.
So, this is that.
That's right.
Just one other thing is that when people come to pick up, if I still have stuff sitting around, sometimes I buy a second thing. So remember, it's not all just,
Well, they might get
the
that,
opportunities.
they might get that as people go to their shops and look at their,
Right.
things.
It could be a marketing,
Oh, it could.
yeah,
Yeah, the other thing about a gun show is you come and you see vendors from all over, right? So, I can be upstairs, on the stage talking to a vendor, looking at a firearm, and be like, yeah, this is the price of it here. And then I can walk downstairs and another vendor has the same firearm for $50 less. So I wanna buy it from that person. That person, now, his shop or her shop is 2 hours away from my house, and the other person is a quarter of a mile from my house, right? So that's part of what's gonna be the issue, Whereas at the gun show, they would just buy one for less and save their $50, right?
So that
that's a major issue for you guys.
Yeah.
You have to solve on that, that's not what we're gonna.
Oh, no, I know, I'm just making it aware,
Yeah, no,
so.
that's the concern.
So I want to hear in terms of anything last year that we could improve on, anything that you're kind of looking for different this year.
No, like I said, I think everything went good last year, kitchen was good, everything, you know. Like I said, the one thing about the cold is just that one downstairs door, I think, you know, the lobby's cold, but, you know, the front doors have a pretty good cabin in it as well, but other than that, I think the inside, once the people are inside, it's pretty warm, it's cozy, and, you know, nobody's complaining about it cold, but.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I think is a moot point now, is like, well, you know, talk about the 3-year period.
Yeah.
It's at least, but I would say that's probably out the door for now until.
So we know
if
what's
this.
going on. Yeah, and then, you know, ultimately, I think we would like that, the draft that we received from you guys last year seemed like you weren't overly interested in it, so. This, the way we read it, did not seem overly, like there was something that you were interested in.
We would be interested in that. I mean, what a 3-year contract, and that is something. Yeah.
Fellas, I want to say thank you for bringing the gun show here to the auditorium. My job up here is to sell advertisement. I need all the banners in the odd. The odd's full, and there's a waiting list of businesses wanting to come in to put up their banner. Same is true in the BOR. I say this because when I go out and make a presentation to a company, I always, or most frequently say, there are some pretty important shows that come to the auditorium every year, in this order, as far as attendance is concerned. The Vermont State High School basketball semis and finals in March. And then you guys float back and forth, used to, with the Arts and Crafts Show in November. So it's been a great asset to say, gun show, auditorium, hundreds, if not thousands of people want to see that banner, and it's banners are full. So thank you very much for coming, much appreciated.
Oh, absolutely, thanks for having us, I mean, it works out well for us to be here. You know, we're all local, so we don't want to go somewhere else.
Local or local?
Well, maybe.
Little both.
Since you brought it up.
We were gonna discuss that.
Let's try to stay on topic.
Man, I don't remember, last year?
For the weekend?
Yeah, it was down,
You were down both days.
yeah, less than 3,000.
Yeah, so it was a little under 2,000 on
What's that?
Saturday and probably 11.
Yeah.
Saturday's always your busiest
Saturday.
day.
Yeah, Saturday was maybe 11.
What's it been like previous COVID?
Pre-COVID, we were pushing, 3,500 to 4,000.
As far as advertisers are concerned, they think you still are.
You won't make this room.
There's over three, yeah, there's tens of thousands that come.
This year has the potential for that, I mean, my fingers are crossed that we have that this year, so.
I think that grandfather.
Yeah, huge. It is, yeah. It's funny because there's always been this thing about the gun show loophole, right? Which has never been real. Until they made it this year. They made the loophole this year by not having us have a waiting period and everybody else has to. And it is kind of crazy that, you know, there's a local gun shop, RNL Archery, sells firearms, so they'll be here. So if somebody goes to their shop and buy a firearm, they have to wait 3 days. But if they say, if you want this today, just go out to the gun show and you can walk out with it. It's really crazy. Yeah,
For 1 year.
for 1 year, yeah. So, you know, and that law is being challenged, so, you know, who knows, it may be a return by the court, we'll see, but, we just have to go.
Roster on
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So, we'll take it as it is for now.
Let's have it open. First weekend in February is the 30th.
The weather plays a part in what, I mean, it's a bad weather day, and that's gonna hurt your attendance, right?
Bad weather generally helps us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have people that wanna go snowmobiling, ice fishing, skiing, or whatever. It's super cold out, if it's raining, if it's a blizzard, you don't wanna do any of those things. You'd rather be inside, you know, where it's warm. So those days have always helped us. If it's nice out, if it's 40 degrees out, sunny, we have a lot less attendance than we do when it's bad weather. So yeah, we're hoping for cold weather, a blizzard, you know. That will help us greatly. You know, when the guys are out here with the loader, like push the snow off, we have a really good attendance.
The line is down the hill from the door.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything else that you wanted to talk about while you're here, that's all good.
That's it.
Does anyone got anything for them? Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Start this, but do we have that?
Yes.
So we got pushed along for sure. Last time this is our executive session, I'd like to have that ended this morning. So let's try to keep that in mind. Next one we're gonna talk about is the earmark fund. Planning, I haven't heard anything different. Is anything happen or?
We are, you know, Nicholas and Dawn are working on it behind the scenes of all the flood damage repairs. So, they're looking at other options for our share. I'm not sure what they are yet, but they seem to be pretty confident that we're gonna be all right.
That's Nicholas.
Yep, Nicholas and Dawn, that's one meeting with them, like,
The way we get one of the number next meeting, is update.
yeah,
Timeline, new timeline, or we got that stuff.
yes,
Yeah,
they extended it.
but to when?
I'm not sure. I know when I meet with them, we're going over that, we're going over repair work for the buildings that were damaged in the flood. City Hall, got pretty hard. Wheelock building, got hit real hard.
Our,
The Wheelock building, got hit real hard.
That wasn't sold yet.
No, it hadn't sold yet.
I thought it seemed a big deal.
So right now, we know that the boiler is shot, hot water heater is shot. Panels most likely shot. Either way, we're gonna be directed to move utilities upstairs. So we're getting prices on that. And Fox Market is still interested. Cross our fingers.
So no news on the earmark funding.
No.
is there any formality, if the deadline, as it was announced, is September 28th, is it all sort of like handshake, or is there a formality like a memo that?
No.
Discussion,
Right now, it's in good shape.
okay.
We'll make sure that it's in the
Okay,
This is our period.
So really, it seemed like that we were interested.
We sent them, don't know, we sent them the 3-year agreement. I'll get some more information on that. I thought it was a decent agreement. We were selling things, I think it really didn't escalate the pricing too much.
No.
It kept their rate, but police could go up, it's one of the things to go up.
That was the only thing, we were gonna keep the base rent the same. They would still have to pay the increase for, police coverage, custodial coverage, yes.
Which that might change for next show, so, that's a good question, I'll ask.
Oh, I was just curious. We weren't interested, we could send them.
Those things you have to increase because,
Yeah, please.
you know, these people, the staff here, the police, fire, they get annual increases. And to keep up with it, we'll have to increase it on this end.
We don't control this.
Good.
We don't control it. It's the same.
I was just curious.
There's an interest. Okay, so anything else on the aircraft funds? We're waiting, it'd be great to get Nicholas here next meeting, he can answer some better questions. So next item, we continue with the facility improvements. There was a list that I sent out, this was generated a while ago. Some of the things have been on it, that you kind of go item by item, see if we prioritize some of them. The paint walls in the conference room we did, where, we want to continue on that one, we have the whiteboard up there, never did, that's not where the
I have, got it in, it's in the back room here.
paint walls.
Rick picked out some really good stuff, and put some in his office upstairs, which really nice.
The bathrooms, we had, they wanted to do something, they put some mirrors, waste baskets, and a paint is required. You addressed any of that?
I went over the years, I found out while we were doing a new restroom down at City Hall, if you're calling it an ADA restroom, you have to have an ADA mirror. That is slanted, yep,
So you just, yeah, so it's a wheelchair.
yep. So I'm ordering mirrors
So
for
it's
this
a,
one.
it's an elongated.
It's a rectangular mirror, that sits on the wall, the top is probably that thick, and the bottom is that thick, so it tilts downward.
For a wheelchair, I think
How about painting that?
So,
Painting those rooms. One's bathrooms, just.
downstairs, it's easy
These
one.
are all, upstairs is not, so upstairs is.
Downstairs is, they've done, they need a fresh coat. And the ones in the hall can be done.
So we need to do downstairs.
The wait a minute, downstairs, that is in the auditorium.
No, the downstairs is here in the hall, there, so it's done, they were like 4 years ago.
The carpet in the elevator, that was.
That's done.
Paint all stairways in the odd, or the locker room stairs.
Not yet.
There's some broken tiles.
Where are those?
As you enter the alumni hall from the odd, so it must be down on the bottom floor. That was on here, I didn't go down here to see which ones they were. Those floor mats in the three buildings.
Those are done.
That's nice, that's on. Exterior paint, which we're probably not gonna get to. The granite steps is a big one that we're we
Yeah. That's the front, that includes the front steps, and the group rolls together.
Yeah, the sunset railing will probably be done at the same time.
Yeah.
Funding going. This one, next one is kind of, I think, important, is repair the ceiling as you walk in.
So I'm talking to Ryan to come up and fix the roof first.
Wait, I just remember, want to take some off and check, it might be top.
Right.
It would have been indicative of that period, and it looks like it's covered, we don't want to cover something that could be running in some.
No,
Or we can take it
we
off.
have to scrape the paint off, we can see it, and if it was copper tiles.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But that one, I think, is somewhat important, that's, when you walk in, and you look up, it's just.
Oh, I totally agree, it was very long.
Really nice work. Please, I so, and then the front steps would be this, we have one that would probably. So in terms of, are there any others that people have that they would like to address? Celine?
There are some ceiling tiles in the connector that are a little damaged, maybe water damaged, that's.
So we have crossed off some things on the list, which is good. I would prioritize would be the auditorium and ceiling, you said you have someone coming to take a look at that, which is great. We're obviously not gonna do any major ones until we get some funding.
One final thing is, it's easy to switch out some light bulbs at the entrance of the R. And I realize that the light fixtures themselves should be switched out when
Yeah,
there's one.
they'll have to be.
But the window just before. It doesn't seem like,
That's when you walk.
yeah, the entrance, it needs to feel like an entrance with the light.
Question. Okay, asked this before, the bleachers, the pull-out bleachers, both ones of the main ones, some of the stage, those all in good shape, that's something that we can look at.
They're decent shape.
Maybe that's something, that the funding or that should be something that's.
We'll have to look at it, you know, maybe the next couple of years, because it's getting harder to find parts too. So.
Yeah, that's the question, yeah, so when we get this money, if there's some money there, those get used, right?
Yeah.
Use heavily for the past also. So it's supposed to be how old it is.
As far as I can guess, it was in the early sixties, when they put those in, that's when they had to move the whole floor over 4 feet.
I love these two windows here, but those been back forever, and it's,
Those have been there.
Is that just vandalism or?
That one may have been when they put the air conditioner in a couple of years ago, and they screwed into the window itself. That one's got a BB mark in it. There's some in the back room that are BB shots too.
that one's right from the inside out.
That one,
Rogue,
But it is a little different out.
yeah.
That might on those, that's pretty big. Okay, we'll wrap this up, if, you know, I think we'll kind of keep this one going every month, and we'll just bring it in. So if there's anything that anyone wants to add to it, send me an email, and we'll keep it on here. But I think we're getting pretty close to finishing up the bathrooms, as I said, the ceiling, front ceiling, okay, so moving on here, DOR turf. I have talked to Ben Moulton a little bit on that, he's still very interested, he reached out, and, wanted to know what we were considering. I told him that we were financially, he said he went to the very town, but he sent me something last night. It just said, hey, just a heads up, I had a last minute meeting in the Berry Town Rec Board tonight. They passed a motion to put 15K towards the similar situation as you guys want to bring a question on the agenda of the Berry Town Council. Really shocked. Total 180 from my last meeting for the only board members. So.
Wait, how much money?
15K. They put a motion in to put 15K.
Study goes to select, it's just gonna be.
Yes.
So this was the very town project.
And
All the money, so what is it, control recreation?
So at least, so it's not a guarantee, but at least it's some very town recognizing that facility that helps out quite a bit. So hopefully he can follow up on that.
Do we have that same thing going on here, if we want to do 50,000 out of our
Yes.
fund, we have to go
We have to go to
to
the city council.
even though it's the money that's in there.
That's usually very, okay. Not very much it works. I don't know where it comes from.
We get something that'd be based precedent.
It would, so then the other thing that Ben asked me is, he knows he has to go in front of the city council here. And he asked, is that something that their group should do? Or is that something that their group and our committee should, they will join? My thought is that we should go in front of that. So, actually, we committed potentially to 50 grand, it's another, we definitely official on that. But I think the committee here was supportive of, yeah, I mean, I agree on, we have to make that official here, we have to, there's city council. So we be going to the various city council to get 15,000 cash from town or approval of $50,000 from this committee. Well, $50,000 would be for us from Berry City, then we'd have to go to the Berry Town report.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go to Berry City? Yeah, no, there's not yet. We go to Berry City with their proposal. He would have to go, then would have to go in front of the Berry Town to get the 50 there, right? He's going to the Berry City Council to get money outside of the 50,000.
We have meetings, what we do, we don't give it, we don't recommend it.
Now, city
Oh,
council,
Yeah, the city council go there,
He
approve
would-
it there.
He would like to ask Berry City Council for some more money because they're not all the way there.
Yeah.
They indicated that they don't, that's like double digits.
Yeah, so-
Wait.
So let me tell you what the deal is. So I brought this to Nicholas and I said, so they're asking for civic center committee funds. But they're also asking for the city of Barry
Oh,
to give money, and we're not gonna do that.
oh,
And we give one pot of money.
yeah,
We're not going, take 15 or 50 here and then 15 or whatever here. They're getting it from one source. And if it's gonna be from here, then that's what it is. If it's gonna be from the city itself, that's what it's gonna be. They're not getting two contributions from the city.
And which one do you think it would come from?
I'm thinking it's probably gonna come from
the improvement.
the improvement.
People ask.
Because I know I got an email from, I think it may have been Molten, and I think it was driven by their council board. They want to know what the revenue is for DOR during the off ice seasons. So we can get it, it's not a lot of money.
It's insignificant. I
It's
think this is,
insignificant.
this would open the doors for quite a bit more.
Don't they want to know projected revenue? If we're talking about the investment.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. We put it in, the revenue will go up.
So they're, but they're very talented, where like they invest the money, the Berry City's gonna pocket the money, which they don't, it's not even, what it is, bring in, help cover some costs, that's it. It's, so. So. You're just like,
The town was asking what kind of revenue, from the DOR.
During the off season, it's not like. Yeah.
Not just like coffee.
pretty easy.
Yeah, kind of information, shouldn't be any secret.
No, no, and I can get it.
It's a public information.
How much is it?
I can run it through the system, so everything's in the scheduling system. It tells you who rented when, how many hours.
You can show them how much you got brought in, from cost of carry costs.
Maybe it would make sense to not ask for the $15,000 and just charge Berry Town the regular rate.
I don't think it's
You can't, they're all.
Next to the other Berry City.
Which force does recognize boundaries? Governance.
They presented some type of a fee schedule too that we can look at. EYSA, Area Community Baseball, whoever contributes into this pot of money to buy the turf gets a special rate when they rent it. The general public, outside schools, outside little league teams, they would pay a higher rate. So you'd have a two-tier system.
There's still one issue, because I think it was considered $180. They up their contributions like 70, 75, something like that.
From the York,
Yes, anyway, I say. And when we talk about 50 here, maybe to get 15 there, it still doesn't quite happen. So they're not quite there. But they're still working on it. We're in support of it, so I think it makes sense to move forward with it.
Okay, what's the dollar amount that we're looking for to support the whole?
I thought it was 180. Remember that? That was less. What it would be there.
so we've got 70% from York, 50 from the improvement fund, 15 maybe from Berry Town.
See,
And
that's
then
where I have the problem. That's where I have the problem. If we're gonna give 50, then normally we give 50. I have a problem with that.
I do too.
Because the majority of the kids are Berrytown kids, in every sport. We've looked at this years and years and years, and it's always more Berrytown kids versus Berry City kids, but Berry City's carrying the load. We're not gonna do it.
We'll say we're prepared to match their attendance
That's right.
level up
We're
to 50.
prepared to match
Up to
what
50,000.
Berrytown will contribute.
Up to 50.
All I can say is that this summer, my kids play, we did go lacrosse. They play, which I play hockey. Only few facilities, Bears teams, it's sports that we have no teams. So we're going up, doing the day to play building. But the weekends, there's loaded of people, every between games, there's only one game at a time, there's assistants, they're trying to the stores, and coffee. I mean, it's a great thing, I mean, just, as we always talk about that Jen show, this meetings for a lot of people. I think it'd be great. I wasn't necessarily sold on it until I saw it. The summertime, we were actually indoors. Stinky. It was disgusting. But it's a great, it could be a great resource, and just more use of the building. I get what you're saying about the 15, Beartown's not gonna say, and I'm pretty positive like I'm gonna say no to them. Hopefully I'm wrong, but, I've always looked at it, we're doing the right thing. We're fighting for something for the community, it's Beartown will do it because it's Beartown. Hopefully.
There's a lot of politics behind that one, that is HO.
Yeah, I just look at it, especially with the kids stuff, it's like they don't.
So do we need to have a formal motion now about 50,000 that we're recommending?
Up to 50,000, up to 50.
Okay, so I will make a motion that, the committee is recommending to do the right thing and to pledge up to $50,000 to support, the turf project, stipulating that our expectation is that Beartown will provide at least 15,000.
We should say where
This, we talked about it.
We never did.
So sure, that's not what it comes.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
So we have, I think the motion A would have to step up, recommending, citizen,
Civic Center Committee is recommending.
Coming from the civic center.
Yes.
I think that we have to see where the funding is coming from. I would leave out the very down.
I'm wondering if we're jumping in by one meeting, we should have them come in, then this group come in next meeting and get a little more of their plan for the finances, and then have a little more concrete about those.
I withdraw my motion.
So I will, I'll invite.
Can I add to that? Last Saturday, I was explaining, to Paul Hutchinson, he was talking to me about this same thing, how the rest of they want to start paying for it. Want to, he thought we were doing, I told him, I was very supportive of this board. They're of the opinion, would like to take care of, or in charge of scheduling. They'd like to do pretty much anything that they can afford to make this a better deal for for us, the city. Certainly willing to participate a lot more in handling some of the functions that possibly that you could coordinate with them. But just a very positive conversation. Well, he's with the same, he's with the committee.
He's the overhead chief for Lion City.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think he's in charge of the work.
Yes, he is.
So he's
I
got.
just wanted to, I told him they're having a meeting, oh my, let you all know that's it. He's very, very positive.
So I'm withdrawing my motion. Are you going to invite? Will you invite them?
Yeah, I will invite them, and agree about.
I'll oversee that.
They're be here, they're excited to work out. So, it's getting some of this, yeah.
You get 15,000 out of it,
If they had it, that would be open the door, you know.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And that's great, I love the same for years, but just as unhappy as years. When I live in the town, I'm still just as unhappy, because yes, it's true. Yes, they, a lot of their young kids, including mine, go through that, so I don't know why, we're ready to get it more.
And this goes to pool, this is pool, this is,
Oh, it's very different.
Yes, they used to get a lot of money, but they withdrew, that change of leadership.
The only thing I can say, like, DOR, Jeff, when we needed to raise money, DOR was raised by both communities, people, individuals, and companies, both together, very individuals, every project. We just don't contribute to everyday operating expenses. This might have to go to the same thing we did the last money. Yeah. Wait, any other input from the church? So we'll move forward, our report.
Morning, everyone. I want to pass kudos out when it's deserving. You may recall the last time we met here, John made a suggestion that it might be good to send an email blast out to all of the sponsors in both buildings. And the gist of that email was to show what the auditorium and the BOR had done during the flood. And I did that a couple of days after that meeting, and I'm assuming some of you got, I hope all of you got that, some of you may have read it. The kickback on that was very, very positive. There were 6 to 8 different sponsors, not only just here in Barrie. I got something from RK Mile down in Manchester. I got one from Massachusetts, from Aubuchon Hardware, saying, you know, good that the auditorium and the BOR stepped up and helped. So, Don, thank you for that suggestion, and pretty good PR piece is coming in from our buildings. To the point that to date, right now, things can change, that everyone that I have been chasing down to re-up for yet another year with their banner and or dasher or combination thereof, not on plastic. I have yet to have a refusal. Everyone has said yes. And those monies are trickling in here rather slowly. November is a huge month. Over 60% of the sponsors, and it just turns out, have a due date to continue sponsoring. So when we meet in November, I hope, you know, some of those numbers will already be coming in, but staying more positive, I hope that that trend continues.
So you're not getting any rejections because of what?
No, not yet, but that's a good question. I think clearly what we did a month ago by sending that piece out, we're doing this year, and yada, yada, yada. I think that made a very positive, had a very positive effect with those sponsors.
I would tell you that the value of having that sponsorship at the BOR and in the auditorium. I think one of the reasons that you're as successful as you are is because nobody, once it goes down, and have a waiting list to get back up. I think people are afraid of losing that sponsorship.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
So I'm sorry to add humor to this. So there's this process where you say, I'm now taking the ladder out to rip your banner down. One final day, or what is the process?
You know, matter of fact, just in the last, I don't know, couple of 3 weeks, all the banners were brought up to date. We had, I think, 4 different, couple renewals, like Westview and the Gary residents. By the way, the Gary residents is still in a state of shambles from the flood of Montclair. They had a new banner that we put up. Vermont State Colleges or Northern University or whatever the hell they're called now. They had a new banner to be put up. I think we're all caught up in the auditorium. not sure if we still have, and it's a peculiar one, it's one that gets cut by the board when the kids come on and off the ice. Bob Nelson and Ace Hardware, he came up, well, I mean, this is just the way it worked. He came up here last year and went to a hockey game, and I think that could have been one of the very first times. And he sent me an email that, Jim, I was up here watching the hockey game because one of my employees worked. He does have a banner over here. He said, how soon could I get a dasher? And how soon happened quicker than I thought, because WPTZ did not renew. Pretty obvious, because they, remember last year, they came up and did a show live here in the BOR? That's the only reason that they're, I think, the only reason the dasher was up.
They had the best looking dasher too.
Oh, yeah, clear, that was the one with a lady hockey player with a number 5 on her jersey. It was, I thought it was the best one I've ever seen. I was disappointed they didn't renew it. Couple of 3 things that are happening, one of which is not happening to the disappointment of some persons around this table, myself included. We don't get many people, not much. We don't get many people to come to these 3 events. Men's basketball, UVM, women's basketball, UVM, Norwich hockey, women. That's okay. It looks real nice down on the marquee sign on Main Street. That's what sponsors want to see. They want to see activities, they want to see programs happening up here in the Civic Center. To that point, try as we may, the UVM men's basketball program is not coming this fall. We could not, in some ways it's a good thing. It's sort of weird how Jeff and I think, if you can't, everyone goes to Fenway Park to watch the Boston Red Sox play because they know they can't get in. Does that make any sense? It's always trying to go somewhere where you can't go. UVM can't come because we were unable to schedule a date. There's 2 or 3 different things that are happening here in the building, so they're not coming. UVM women are coming, on the 6th of October, which is at 6 o'clock at night. That's a Friday night, so that will be kind of an interesting gig. And just this morning at 6:30, I get an email from Sophie Leclerc, who is the women's hockey coach over at Norwich, and she's looking at a date as well. It's, I'm going to talk with Jeff today. I think it's kind of like November 30th, and she too's coming in at 5 or 6 o'clock at night for 13. I'm glad they come back, because it's an event which is happening that pleases the sponsors.
UVM men's basketball, consider a clean thing.
We tried everything. Yeah.
Jim's worked real hard. It isn't because UVM doesn't want to be here, it's just all to do with schedule. So they'll be back.
That's good, because I was always discriminated in sports, it was an asshole. How many kids there, that's what I always, and
We also are, I think I mentioned this, but I'll just bring it up the last time. We also are not scheduling this year the college gig that has been sponsored by the Barry Granite Association for the last year. We got some notification very late in the summer that the Castleton men were not, we knew they weren't coming. Then we got a note that the Castleton women, this is their last time. GTC, of course, and Johnson, they might not be coming because their programs have been dropped from D1 down to junior college, and that's changed around. So, both Paul and Bernie are on that group, on that committee. So I spoke to them individually, we decided not. However, on the 23rd of December, that winter solstice that we're doing for the high school teams, that's going to be huge. I am really thinking that we're going to have big crowds for that. That could generate some dollars. We'll have to split the money with the high schools which are coming. But I think, again, that's gonna be a very big event, get a lot of, good press for us.
Talk to the BGA about possibly sponsoring that, since it's a college one. Have you talked to the Barry Grant Association, what they consider since the college that's not happening, the BGA sponsored this tournament?
We've definitely had that conversation. And Mark is very on board.
Just ironically, when I went downstairs, I didn't want to. I apologize for this. Nicholas is the city manager. Yes. Okay, he was down there in the conference room where I'm now temporarily being located. He was waiting for a committee meeting. He just chatted for a few minutes. And he asked about when the, men and women come in, that they have kind of like a grouping of persons in very sort of team up and practice with them, and see two ways and say no. He mentioned the hockey over here, maybe Sophie might be open to that. But not missing an opportunity. I took a few minutes talking with Nicholas and I said, how do you feel, and I'm not going to look at soon. How do you feel about a sponsor appreciation afternoon here in the auditorium? He was all over that. He thought it would be a good thing. I know there's been some discussion, in all due respect, and I know there's been some debate, but I'm asking you to give us some really strong consideration and come back soon, because what I'd like to do, I'd like to send out a notification to all of the sponsors soon, because I'd like to schedule this next month. And not only would all the sponsors come, but I also asked Nicholas, I said, you could get the city council to come and the mayor. I mean, this would have to be, and all of us here, and all of you in this room, you gotta come in here in that old term, you gotta shake hands and kiss babies. And thank the sponsors for what they've done. I don't know, can we do some light refreshments? Possibly. Ooh,
So
Rick, I got a minute.
only because I'm in favor of these, of the appreciation, and I'm in favor of refreshments. The only thing that I spoke about, not supporting was to basically give a free banner or badge. Just to be very clear, it's that seems like, money that we should be keeping in our tip. But I'm very much in favor of appreciation.
Second part of that is, I'd still like to be able to do that. Have two different pots, if you may. One for auditorium sponsors, one for the BOR sponsors. During the course of that afternoon, let's say from 3:30 to 5, we take a special moment and we pull out of the hat somebody who's advertising there in the auditorium, here, there. We do the same thing in the BOR. Now, I talked with Bernie about it, he brings up a good point. What happens if everything basemently, whatever that, anyone talking about, the guy that does, okay, they're one of our newest sponsors. They just signed a 3-year deal, so not that makes sense. But anyway, versus RK Miles / Allen Lumber, who've been up there forever. What happens if the newest sponsor wins a year's time of about $1,000 basically, versus someone who's been doing it for 6, 8, 9 years? Good point.
Every time I have some sort of a gift deal with my employees and pick a name of a hat or whatever, it's always the youngest, newest, or the foreman or whatever the thing is. Nobody gets excited. It just happens.
Well, I'm not sure when we should just decide that. Maybe we've got some time and there'll be some more debate, which I welcome. But I'm asking to give some serious thought. I think considering that since my time here, and I've been here 5+ years, I think we've lost 10 sponsors. And that's a lot of reasons for that is because we're doing a lot of good things up here. I think the email blast we send out quarterly help. I think, and I really think a sponsored gig like this might help. I'm asking for basically $2,000. I'm not asking for money, but I'm asking for $1,000 gift certificate in each building, total $2,000, so that if we pull. Yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm thinking right now lobster, shrimp, tenderloin. Or how about just Ritz crackers and fun, I don't know.
Get the room to our crew up here.
John,
Couple quick things, before doing it, having the appreciation, I think, sounds advice, I really like to have it tied into, have some sort of display of the plans, this project, the Sanders Fund. Maybe have some of the plans at the doors too, so you can show the sponsors, gotta get, just like an appreciation, I'm not sure how, if you show like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what you're doing, this is what we plan on doing. Kind of give them something to look at, to show like, this is our big plan, think that would help draw more people in. And not on the fence about the free sponsorship. I mean, more inclined if people are eligible, people actually show up.
Oh,
you draw sponsors, didn't show up, that's,
well, again, we do send out an email to invite them and it's RSVP. And to win the $1,000, you've got to be here. So if we pull out RK Miles and no one from here, I'm gonna put it in the basket. And then if we pull out Dawson Giacomo and doing custom and whatever, and you're there, boom. You don't have to pay for the next year to be hanging in either or building, whatever. What brings up a point, another side?
What if they,
I know what
you're going to
what if
say.
they've already paid for 3 years?
I do 3 years.
So then what, we hold this, until the renewal comes up? Yeah, I think if you're gonna do it, then you give them the cash, prize.
Okay, let me come back to
Because
the
like I
first
said,
one.
if he gets it, he's already paid for 3 years. He gets picked, so now we gotta keep track that in 4 years.
Yeah,
We don't charge
yes,
Dawson Giacomo.
we do that
What
anyway.
you and I want to do?
Let me answer that. We do that already because I have the master list downstairs, and all I'm gonna do is scratch out 2025 and put 2026 on that master list because they're the persons that won the thing. I think that would answer that situation. The question, see, there's so many things that have to be thought out. And who can I use? Don, I'm sorry, I'm gonna come back to you. Dawson Giacomo was in both buildings. So if they won the $1,000, they can do whatever they need, but they still have to pay that extra for being in both buildings. That's another way.
What if they get it?
What?
We went for one building.
That's right.
Hey. Sue has a question.
So it's not a question, this is something I said, I think, 2 meetings ago. I can't support the giving away of revenue at that level, but if there needs to be something like a door prize or door prizes, and I'd be happy to work with this, we could give away a dinner for 2 at a local restaurant that's donated, something that basically is a trinket that not having a monetary value of $1,000 or more. I don't think that that's within our purview.
Where you're thinking about returning refreshments, I would consider to save us money. Just order from someplace, and then we pick it up and set it up. Because if not, they can pay over the
Yeah.
where we order from, hire people to come up, set up, and clean up. If we could do that ourselves, and save quite a bit.
Good idea. Before I go, just too quickly. You men, women coming in, do you still have 6 Coke bottles? I need some. Rick has down in his store, probably you've seen him, I don't know how many years ago, 15, 20, 25 years ago? A long time ago, Coca-Cola came out, and on the outside of the bottle, they actually have the catamount that says University of Vermont on it. I want to give, I've already spoke with Will Lanier just yesterday. He's the assistant women's coach up at Patrick. They're gonna bring 5 coaches down for that gig, and if they want to pass out a Coke bottle, I'm gonna say on hockey maybe a cocktail.
Prices went up.
What?
Prices went up.
I know. And last but not least, whose umbrella is that over there?
Oh.
Those all take that home, put it back in the closet.
I must tell you, I like it a lot.
I like it too,
But after yesterday, what good is it?
Last month, so it should be nicer.
It's good for rain, you open it up so it's good.
I have a black umbrella in the back of my car, you want to swap? No, please, and I don't want to interfere in I want to end in a serious. Here's some thoughts, but I need to know, because I think it's important that we gotta have this, if you're all in favor of that, or if the majority is, and we are gonna have sponsor appreciation and want to do whatever for a gift/door prize, I need to know ASAP, so I'm gonna send that out within 3 weeks.
How much money do you need for refreshments?
I'm gonna say maybe 500, no idea.
Make a motion that we support the sponsorship, with the allocated $1,000 for the lobster.
What?
Don't forget the lobster, $1,000 for food for it. And that you come back and what you're gonna do, a decision on what you're gonna do as far as gifts. That's what you want to call it. Think about what people have said here, come back. Tell us what you want to do. Yes, what people said.
Can you wait until the next meeting to finalize this, or is it just finalized?
I think we're okay. Because we have to do this gig in the latter part of the month. The sponsor appreciation thing would have to be at a time Jeff and slide it. And where do we do it here? I hope not. Hope this room is too small. I think maybe we would do it over in the auditorium. Matter of fact, I think it's best to do it in the auditorium. That's where all the band.
We'll do it when it's cold, we don't want to go over there. It's cold.
No, not with the alarm.
Support it, okay, and the money for the food, right, so what it's gonna be, food you get. Well, the gift card, I'd like to have it come back next month and say, okay, thinking this through, what people have said, what we wanna do, what you wanna do, or I wanna do that, what Susan suggested, or other people. Everything seems to be paying out, what's the best thing to do? Now, we need to do something, do that part.
Yeah, I think Sue's piece on, not every single restaurant there has to sponsor, no one has. So maybe it'd be good to drive down to Cornerstone or the Firehouse or somewhere and say, you need a $100 gift certificate.
I think your motion will have to address that. I think everyone's in support of it, voting in second. Just trying to not give, we're a sponsor here, I'm happy the money's going to it. I just don't want the money back, I want the money to be used by the facility. So I would go more towards, dinner right there, Patriots tickets, something like that. As a sponsor, I would give the money, I want the money to use for the facility. A lot of interest in getting those back.
Make sure you pick PMS.
Well,
This is my 2 cents. It's, I I mean, it's when you do the pots over there, and 50/50, and people give it back, I don't want to find you like, I don't want money back, I want to support the facility, I should get it back. If you take it from me, but that's just my 2 cents. So we're not solving that big gift issue today, we're actually on the floor, is just to support the event. And we brought $12,000, yeah, to move forward with that.
It's a good idea. So let's say you pick one at the auditorium, you had two Celtics tickets. You pick one at the DOR, so 2 Canadians,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Or keep it local and do it up at UVM. That was the thought.
No, we're talking,
Those are all.
they always get tickets.
Should we go on?
Have a second.
I'll second.
So what are we doing here? I didn't hear all that.
I think the motion on the floor is to support the event, and pledge up to $1,000 in food, other monies needed for it. Then we'll get the gift later, figure out which.
Next meeting, and tell them what the decision is on the gift, their tickets, games, or potential restaurant.
Tell you what the decision is for the year. Or you're all gonna talk about
No, you're gonna decide. You've heard what he said. Now you gotta figure out what you wanna do.
it. Okay. Can I ask one more question? Sure. I have no idea where to go for, refreshment. Do I do a caterer? I don't know of any caterer in town, or do I go down like one of these restaurants and see if they like to do it?
Order something.
What?
Order something.
And North Block Deli will make, tiny little bites.
Yeah, what's like, really,
they usually
for
do
appetizers are pretty good.
delicate decadence, they all do.
We're not putting the event together right now, we're just voting on
Yes.
$1,000 to support it and the details about it. So let's, I think it's seconded, so now all in favor? All opposed? Okay, great. So event is on, $1,000 and we'll detail the other 2 things.
I'm sorry, he asked me a question. I'm not opposed to the event. I'm opposed to the idea of using $1,000 bribes to get people there. Give them, that's all.
It's a hard.
I just want to call it what it is.
You think it's a bribe?
I think it's an incentive.
Or,
I don't look at it, I'm too mercenary, I'm sorry.
So Jim, I think somebody brought up about giving away some tickets or something to an event like hockey or whatever, maybe go to Norwich, say, can we get a couple tickets there for hockey, and maybe a couple tickets basketball, maybe or even hockey, you can give those away at the door prizes too. And I think that's a incentive.
Yes.
Okay, so that's moving forward, we gotta get some of the details to give the teacher. Jim, do you have anything else?
no, thank you very much.
So it's 9:15 right now, we're still in the executive session. Your report, keep it as brief as possible.
So, no, I'll keep it very brief. All my time spent on flood repair right now. Up here, things are going pretty good, we just had mixed martial arts on Saturday, it seemed to go well. We had this kind of personnel issue with the guy that's putting it on himself. So his previous event, before this one, we picked him up for a DUI after the event. They threatened to arrest the police. So the police have refused to work his events. So he's gonna get a little hit, a bigger hit on the bill, because now I have to hire Washington County sheriffs to handle his events. And they charge $30 an hour more than Dairy City does. So he's gonna squawk, he's gonna bitch about it, but he's brought on his own problem. He's well attended, we got a lot of people here, so he's making money off it. Don't know when his next one is, he's been doing every 3 months. And I just looked at the calendar, it says it's September, October, December, I don't have a spot for him in December, we're good book. Bookings are picking right back up again, so COVID things worn off. Thought the flooding would affect some, but we're getting a lot of requests now for time. We've got BYSA basketball time already plugged in at the odd, which she's got pretty much all of Black Bear hockey, figure skating, public skating, that's all plugged in. We'll start making ice on October 16th. Let's see what else. Oh, so FEMA's out of here. We still have offices being occupied upstairs. I don't know when, if the finance department will ever move out. They're using their squatters' rights now, they're gonna stay here. We have the HR office up there, but that eventually will be moving back down to City Hall. So that'll open those spaces up and we can start renting those again.
Those spaces weren't that long, previously.
We have, I think, there's 4 events that use them for breakout rooms over here. And now I'm kind of strapped on half, and then we have 2 out of the 4 that were up there.
Police chief and then deputy chief.
These two they'll be going back down. That's what my meeting is after this. Go through the request for proposals for repairing City Hall and the public safety building. This,
Just a quick question. When FEMA was using the space, did they recover any of the admin overhead that is provided by the city with a financial?
we put in hours for the event itself, when we had moved police fire up here. My time that I was here while the shelters were open, all that time goes in. Yeah. You tell you some of the flood things, it was bad. We've lost a house on Portland Street that's been torn down. 2 on Pike Street are coming down, they can never be built on again. So our tax revenue is gonna take a hit. I heard there was 13 other houses that are being considered on the north end. Pike Street is off, you go up Blackwell onto Center Street, go up Howard Street, and then Pike runs from Howard, goes around, loops around, then there's George Street, Pike Street keeps going up the hill. It's down where I grew up. In fact, one of the houses that's being torn down is my great grandmother's house. There's 2 houses there that back up to the old railroad bed that runs from Blackwell Street all the way to Bassett Street. It developed a crack, I don't know, it started out about 18 inches and it's continually opening. The whole bank eventually is gonna come down, not if, but when. So they were evacuated from their homes and they believe they're just finishing up the buyouts now for both of those.
Railroad Street, I tell the manager that big bank.
Your thought,
That's not our property, that's a city property, big bank, that's not ours.
we're washed out, that's not yours?
That's huge bank, that's the city, we're above. 2 huge boat cars and boats, like they're ready to just come down, yeah, the city, I can't believe the state owned it, the city car, way out, well, we lost some land. And we'll carry with it. Yeah, that big bank's not ours, it's the city there. City there, just say the wrong bottom on it. Got that, it's your problem.
Did you?
Kelly and I, you look at the surveys there, the tax.
I'll get on and see if I can alter those maps again. Whoever thought they'd see landslides of that magnitude.
Yeah, that whole bank, they put the belt line in, originally the state took over, then you guys said, Kelly's, McKenzie, took care of it.
But people are starting to come back now, we're starting to get events booked again. 4-H is coming back again this fall. Basketball, looking times, so.
Excellent. I'm not going to cut it short, but this was not our last agenda. Governor, you will have to, executive session, you call this to order, or you have to.
Someone has to invite me in.
But you first, you have to say, reason why it's purpose of executive session, you gotta say it's because the public is sending, I think first you gotta say what it's about, is it personnel, is it election, you guys join the meeting right now, or no?
No, we have to call executive session first, and then.
What's the
It's
basis?
personnel.
Yeah, so make a motion to go to executive session for personnel issues that would otherwise. Yeah, so you did it, and we have to shut that off.
Yes.
We have to write it.
Wait, and then, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting after we finish this.
No, you have to come back out of executive session. You can't adjourn
Okay,
before
all right,
executive
great,
session.
great.
We can't make any decisions in executive session, we come out, make any decision, that's what that.
But you adjourned your regular meeting. Right?
No, after.
So you made a motion, and there's a second to this motion. Okay.
So you have to shut that off.
Yeah, shut that off. Then, once you get moved, we invite Jeff.
You just close the laptop back and then open it back up.
I'm not gonna open it back up because I don't know how.
Okay, and we